We're often told that we need to find ourselves, find our purpose, find your calling, find your place in the world. But I feel this idea is a trap, or it's very difficult to understand. And a lot of us get the same question, which is, what the hell am I looking for? And how am I meant to find something when I have no clue what it looks like or what I'm looking for? And we go searching for this idea and looking for this thing, which may be the future version that we want to be. And we're meant to feel, once we achieve this thing, that everything's going to feel right. Everything's going to make sense. But instead of clarity, I feel we end up more confused than we started. Because so we start questioning things about ourselves. Who am I supposed to be? How will I know when I found this thing? And with life and so many things, obstacles going away, how do you stay maintaining life itself when you're out here chasing something? A lot of us can't put, if you're lucky enough, you can stop and just go out in the world and experience things. But a lot of us have people that rely on us, a lot of things that are important and require us to be there. We can't just leave and go search for something when, one, we don't even know what we're looking for, and plus we don't have a map. It's like going into the wild world expecting this calling to be no directions, no nothing, and then we're just supposed to know that this is the thing. And it can give a lot of false hope, and like, is this the thing? Is this the thing? And we just endlessly waiting for that one thing to happen. This video is not meant to discredit people that are looking for themselves, because I feel like a lot of people can find themselves, and it does work for many people. But I feel like the important thing that a lot of us miss out, and something that is not really told to us, is that we have to first build ourselves before we go searching for ourselves. And sometimes once you build yourself, you find yourself, rather than searching for something which is, you have no clue what you're looking for. Because the main issue I have with finding yourself, or when people tell you to find yourself, it's a very simple thing to say, but it's very difficult and very hard. Because in a sense, we are waiting for a purpose to appear, that the universe will align and suddenly we'll know. Sometimes that does happen, and a lot of people find themselves in that way. And sometimes we're drawn to certain things, and then it works with ourselves and we get harmony in terms of finding ourselves. But I feel that moment alone, or finding yourself, doesn't mean that's it. And I feel once a lot of people find themselves, they are also in the next trap, which is, what do I do? Because I feel with finding yourself, it's the beginning. I think it's discovery. And I feel the best way I could explain this is, when we're children, a lot of us will start off with not thinking of a purpose. We just fall in love with an ideal, which can be sports, art, music, or anything like that. That is essentially what we want to be and is ourselves, and we'll build ourselves on that basis. However, I feel when we are taught this and we find this joy and we find this thing that is ourselves, that doesn't mean it is the finish line. I think a lot of us will continue to enjoy these certain aspects, or maybe chase these dreams. However, there is basic fundamentals that are forgotten, things that we're not taught, certain things that not align and make it very difficult to, one, catch up to ourselves. Because I feel once you find yourself, it's just the beginning of the race. And the goal line or the finish line is yourself, and you have to catch yourself and it'll all align. And it's a very difficult thing to do, because sometimes you don't know what is necessary to find or to be with your future self or the thing that you want to be. A good example I can use is Monkey D. Luffy. I think Monkey D. Luffy is a person that fell in love with a dream. His purpose came to him. Shanks showed him the freedom, the glory, the joy, and everything that he dreamed of, and everything aligned. And then he knew from Goldie Roger's speech that he wanted to be a Pirate King, or he will be the Pirate King and nothing else. And even his grandfather, Garp, even though he tried to push him to become a Marine, it didn't work. Luffy didn't hesitate. He found his purpose and he was committed. And that's where it all started. So Luffy found his purpose, and that was not the end. Because if that was the end, One Piece would have finished 10, 15, 20 years ago. However, with that, it's just the beginning of a journey. And this is where I would say, in terms of finding yourself is one part of it, but building yourself is more essential. Because with the example of Luffy had an ideal of where he wanted to be, and he sees everything that is in front of him. However, when he was a kid, or 4 or 5 years, that's when he had the ideal. However, he only stepped out to become a pirate once he was 16, 17, 18, I think 16. So those years that we don't see in terms of the timeline of One Piece, Luffy was doing things that we didn't see off screen. Luffy worked hard, trained, motivated, and got his mind to match up to his ideal or what he wanted to be. He found himself, however, with just finding himself, he realized there's other things that require me to become this thing that I want to be. The ideal is to be the Pirate King. However, to be the Pirate King in One Piece, you have to be the strongest. You have to have a crew. You have to all these things. And through this journey in terms of One Piece, we see a character that grows over time. He is building himself to be the Pirate King. And even though in terms of his life right now, he doesn't believe he's the Pirate King, but through his actions and how he's built himself from chapter 1 to chapter 171, what we're on, is a character that's continually growing with his actions, his emotions, his battle IQ, his fundamentals. Everything is growing. He's building, in a sense, the characters that are around him and the people that he interacts with, and everything that he goes through is building himself to be a certain person. And you see in terms of One Piece, you see a character that found himself at an early age, however, is still learning this thing of what he wants to be. And that requires him to be ruthless in certain situations. That requires him to be understanding in certain situations. That understands him to be a leader in certain situations. In the very beginning of the chapter of One Piece, Luffy was not all those characteristics. However, due to his aspiration of being the Pirate King, you see a character that is continuously growing to match this, which is the Pirate King. And I feel with a lot of us, we are taught that we need to find ourselves, but I feel like you need to build yourself first. And the reason I say build yourself first is because I feel you need to build the qualities that you require to be the thing that you desire. And obviously, if you haven't found yourself, there is something that I'll say my thing I'll recommend is what brings you the most joy and what makes you happy. What is it? Is it fame, money, love, all these things? And understand the characteristics of thing. And I feel with this, I can go into another character, Goku. I think with Goku is very simple. He's the strongest and that's it. But I think in terms of that simplicity is something that is a hidden meaning. Goku didn't search to be the savior of the earth. He didn't search to be this main hero or anything like that. His main thing that he did was just train. He came to Earth, was around a supportive family, and trained. He's the same person in every arc. His same individual. Nothing changes in terms of who he is. But every situation that he comes out of, he becomes stronger, wiser, or more disciplined. And it's not in the sense of identity crisis or waiting for clarity. Goku's truth is simple. You don't need to know who you'll become. You just need to keep building. And I think a lot of us wait for this clarity to understand what we want to be, but don't have the basic fundamentals to be the person that we are waiting to be. I think life itself is a journey. You go through different life experiences, you do go through difficulties. Sometimes we latch onto an ideal or an idea of ourselves. It fails and we quit, and then we just basically remove everything that we've learned from that lesson. But I think the essential thing in terms of life itself is continuously adapting to whatever situation and surroundings that you're in. I think with us, or for myself, my experiences, I'll say growing up, I was an individual that didn't realize the potential that I had. And with the potential that I had, I lacked certain skills and was not willing to work on certain skills. So I was good at certain things. However, certain levels or certain skill that I needed to maybe acquire a certain dream, I lacked it. And I thought talent itself would work and everything will be all right. And it didn't. And the harsh reality is that that was my fault. And with that, I have to understand that the certain skills that I've learned now will make me a better person to what I desire to be. I think if it's fame, money, or anything that you desire, it's what do these certain individuals. I think a lot of people don't understand. It's understanding what you are aiming to be. I feel if your aim is to be famous, you must master and the master, if you know what I'm saying. A lot of people don't want to. I think copying is a very essential thing in terms of being successful if you want to be a certain thing. I think you must understand what these certain individuals have done and then put it to yourself. And in those, you will find discipline, all these things that you never knew. I think with myself or many people, we think this thing is going to come and that's it. However, in terms of my mind or how to change my mind, I had to understand that I can't wait for this thing or myself or find this stuff. I have to basically make it come to me. And by making it come to me is by understanding what person I want to be. If the person I want to be is a strong leader, all these things, I need to have the characteristics of a leader. If my thing is money, I need to have the characteristics of a person that understands money. And that is maybe discipline, maybe understanding communication. If I want to be confident or have people drawn to me or audiences drawn to me, I need to have a charismatic personality. I need to be a person where people enjoy what I'm talking about. And thank you for everyone that is watching this video. I need to have that personality where people are drawn into what I talk about. And there's maybe in the situation, there's people that don't like what I'm saying, but that's part of life or part of the job of what I'm trying to do. There's going to be people that not adore me, but people that like what I say. There's people that probably think I am just a crazy little kid, but a crazy guy that is just talking about anime and lost in the world. And that's fine. But that's their personal opinion, but it won't affect me in terms of what the journey or what I want to be. Everything will align at once with the characteristics and the things that I build on myself, which is editing, all these things. In terms of this video, I'll say what anime, or I mix anime with here and there. But in terms of what I would say with anime, it shows us journeys, and it shows us different people that have certain callings and different people that are, for example, destined. However, with them being destined, it doesn't take away the things that they have worked for, and it kind of works in alignment. And for example, a character that I can use is Naruto. Naruto was rejected and ignored and labeled as a failure. A lot of people didn't mess with Naruto. They thought he was a weird child, family gone, he's by himself. But instead of feeling sorry for himself and saying, I hate the world and I'm just going to put pain to the world and become pain, he said, I will carve my path and everyone's going to realize, well, I'm really that guy. And he trained. He failed. He done all these things, but it's, in a sense, he forced the world or the universe to recognize who he is. I think a lot of us need to make sure or let people recognize who the hell you are. And a lot of us have many talents that people don't really recognize. And sometimes there's a lot of people that have talents that people really recognize but are threatened off. You have to see a lot of things or interactions with a lot of people. Sometimes a lot of people are gifted in certain things but are limited by people because you don't want to be outshunned by other people, and these people try to put you down so they can maintain a sense of power around you. But that's the thing. You have to be confident in your ability and the things that you want in life. And in terms of the universe, in a way, universe works like kind of fake it till you make it in a sense. But if you believe in it so much, the world, universe will believe it, people will believe it, because the confidence that you put out there. And with this, in terms of these characters or anime, it, as I said, is a journey. And some of these people, you say, oh, they're destined to be this, they're the main character. You're the main character of your damn life. What's stopping you? At the end of the day, you are the main character of your life, and you're the main character of everything. I think a lot of people don't believe this, but you really are. A lot of people have just took initiative to take over their current circumstances to choose what they want. And for yourself, it's about realizing you don't need to find yourself. Build yourself and it will find you. And if you don't know what you want to be, build the ideal thing that you would be proud of. What would you say in 10, 15 years, what would you be proud that you have achieved? And in terms of if achievement or anything, what would make you happy? And if those certain things might be gym, better finances and all that, learn the things that certain people do that have achieved it. And I'm not saying spend money on courses and all this and that. It's about understanding the basic fundamentals of certain things. A lot of us expect to be a millionaire by next year and we'll be out the game. It doesn't really work like that. Sometimes you gotta be in the trenches for a couple years doing what you need to do, learning the basics. Like freaking Karate Kid. That guy had to mop the floor multiple times, and obviously it's a movie, but it's understanding the basics, and sometimes it'll just come naturally. And you won't realize, but a lot of people won't realize you put a lot of time in the trenches doing what you had to do to be where you are now. And you didn't wait for the thing to find yourself. You built yourself first and it found you. You know what I'm saying? Stop wasting your time trying to look for something when you don't have a plan. Not even a plan. You don't have a map. You don't even know what it's looking for. You're looking for a treasure that you don't know what's a treasure. It might not be a treasure. But it's understanding what you want to be at the end of the day and what you be 5-10 years will be proud of. And build those basic fundamentals first. And for how long it takes, that thing will come to you and you won't even realize it. It will just be normal. The thing that you're trying to acquire, you have to become normal. Your normality. It has to be something that is just basic to you. Well, the other world might think you're doing witchcraft, voodoo, or anything, but they don't understand the times that you did in the trenches. Stop waiting for it to find you. Oh wait, it's the other way around. You need to build yourself first before, and it will find you. Wait, I'll say it again. You need to build yourself first and it will find you. Yes, that's the correct way. Build yourself first and it will find you. Stop looking for something that you have no clue what you're looking for. And if you Sometimes you have to build the basic fundamentals in the trenches first, and everything will work out. Some people may say that this is just basic thing, but sometimes we don't realize the basic things that we don't do is why we really mess up. And understanding the basics first of what you're trying to acquire or where you want to be is the important thing. We skip the basics and go straight to intermediate, and it makes no sense, and then we're confused on how things are not working properly. Understand the basics first, make the basics, master them, and everything will work. A lot of us try to skip the basics because we feel that we're ready for whatever it is and it's destined. Oh, I'm ready for this. No. Once you master the basics or master what is required, it will come to you because it will be natural. I think we try to force things and we get mad when it doesn't work. You're not meant to force it. It's meant to work in alignment with you. So trying to force to find yourself into different things or whatever. If you have the luxury to go different places and have the ability to experience different things, then kudos to you. But a lot of us don't have the ability or the luxury to go stop our lives and do things to experience the world, to find ourselves. And it means that we miss out on certain things, but I don't think it's necessarily missing out on certain things. I think in terms of your life, you have to see it's your journey at the end of the day. And with it being your journey, if you're not, in terms of the hand that you're dealt, here's what it is. But if you master the basics of that certain situation, it will work out in the end. The basics are the most important things in life. If you don't master the basics of certain things that you're trying to aspire to, you really mess it up. We try to slip to intermediate and try to skip to be the person that knows it all. At the end of the day, in terms of where you should see life itself, it's you know nothing. You know nothing and you're learning every single day. If you see life as a lesson, if you see life as knowledge or something that you can gain every day, a lot of things in your perspective in life can be changed. If you think you're expert in these things, it doesn't really work. Life doesn't work like that. It's always changing. It's always people change. Everything changes. Scenarios changes. Everything like that. At the end of the day, you're a student of the game and a student of life. And you being a student of life and how life is a madness, you don't know nothing. And the more you gain more knowledge and seek more knowledge, you will find yourself or you will find you, whatever you're trying to acquire, because you're constantly learning. And with constant knowledge, you're always evolving with the times and not always going to be left behind. And in terms of, well, I'll say this finally, build yourself, build your knowledge, build your discipline, master yourself, your emotions and your scenarios. When I mean emotions, don't get angry, don't get frustrated. Just know to process. It's your journey. You will acquire where you want to be or whatever. And sometimes that thing's going to slap you on top of your head and you're not going to realize it, but it's just going to be a normality in terms of your life. If it's success, if it's money, if it's fame, status or anything like that, it will be there. But it's going to come from all the times that you worked in the trenches, understanding the basics, understanding knowledge, seeking more knowledge. And at the end of the day, you're a student of the game. You're the student of the universe. You're the student and not enough knowledge. You have no knowledge at the end of the day because the world is always changing. As long as you continuously seek more knowledge and continue to seek to develop yourself, your emotions, the way you interact with people, learning different things from people, life will work out. So don't go looking for something that you have no clue to. I'm gonna say this one last time. Build yourself first and it will find you.